Well, more than 1.5 million Americans are diagnosed each year. This morning, we're exploring the latest advances in the fight against this disease. Special correspondent Joan London is here with us this morning. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning, guys. You know, I recently traveled to the National Cancer Institute in Bethesda, Maryland, where doctors successfully treated a woman with advanced metastasized colon cancer with cells from her own immune system. It is a dramatic breakthrough and offering a lot of hope.
Show me the way. That was my prayer all the time. Show me what I'm supposed to do. If I'm supposed to die, show me how to do that with grace. If I'm supposed to live, show me exactly what I'm supposed to do.
Hello. Celine Ryan's journey hasn't been easy. It has been remarkable. She's a 51-year-old engineer from Michigan, mother of 5, diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer 3 years ago. Celine is not just any patient. They called you an historic figure in medicine. Have you wrapped your brain around the immensity of this?
Even a little bit. It's not sinking in.
After undergoing surgery, radiation, and chemo in her hometown, doctors discovered cancer in her lungs. Despite treatment, 7 tumors threatened her life. She read online about a clinical trial using gene therapy at the National Cancer Institute in Bethesda, Maryland.
2 days after I found out that it was terminal, I called. It was my birthday, and I thought, oh, this is great. This is going to work. It's going to be my birthday present to myself.
But you got turned down, twice.
Well, it wasn't their fault.
Her tumors were too small for the treatment. Celine was devastated, but she refused to give up. She reached out once again, and her persistence paid off. In March 2015, she joined Dr. Steven Rosenberg's trial. He's a leading researcher in immunotherapy and chief of surgery at the National Cancer Institute. His trial involves removing cells from a tumor, your body's own cancer-fighting cells, multiplying them by the billions in a lab, then returning those cells back to your body to fight the tumor. Celine spent a grueling month in the hospital. 148 billion cancer-fighting cells were put back into her body, and the results sent shockwaves through the medical community.
So 6 disappeared completely, but 1 then started to grow about 8 or 9 months later.
Yeah.
And with everything else gone, and this only 1 tumor in all of the scans that we could do, we decided to take it out.
Celine's cancer has even broader implications. Her unusual genetic makeup allowed researchers to identify how to attack the mutation that causes common cancers.
No one had gotten this kind of treatment to work for any of the common epithelial cancers that start in the lining of organs, of the colon and the rectum and the pancreas and the esophagus and the ovary and in the breast. So this is a new era.
So potentially what you were able to do with Celine can be replicated in all of these other cancers going forward.
So we can do, and are planning to do, that kind of gene therapy using the exact receptor we got from Celine cells to treat other people.
Dr. Rosenberg's research team is building an army of cancer-fighting cells.
Let me show you the incubators in which we grow the cells. These are kept at 37 degrees. We grow cells, individual cultures from patients. And so, for example, each one of the wells contain human cells from lymphocytes that can potentially react against the cancer.
Out of a tumor?
Out of a tumor.
Okay.
We're just growing them up. We're growing them here in these small vials so that we can grow small numbers and test them. When we finally find the one that works,
then
we
you
transfer
put
it to the other laboratory, which grows them to very large numbers.
Billions of them, okay.
Exactly.
Billions of cancer-fighting cells, thanks to Celine's cells, that will go on to help others in their fight against cancer.
It's highly experimental, and I wouldn't want people to feel as if this treatment was widely available now. It's not. It's in the course of its development. We've had a handful of patients that have showed responses. Many have not responded. But from every patient that we treat, whether their cancers go away or not, we learn something, and we have people working around the clock to try to improve this. Well, all good news.
Celine is 10 months cancer-free, and on this follow-up visit, the doctors once again delivered those most precious letters.
NED.
No evidence of the disease
No evidence of disease.
What are your feelings?
I love it. I want it to continue forever, yes. And I want other people to hear those words too.
Oh, and many other people will because of her. Celine tells me that she's doing great. She goes back to the National Cancer Institute every 3 months for checkups. The doctors are watching carefully over her. But she has this army of fighter cells in her now that will fight off any of her cancer. The doctors do caution this doesn't work for everybody, yet it's still in clinical trials. But to say this isn't a big, huge deal in cancer treatment, I mean, this holds so much hope. Many of the cells they've gotten from Celine, they've now been able to multiply by the billions, and they're like little armies of fighter cells that they'll be able to use in other people as their cancers metastasize.
So how do people get involved if they see this?
You call the National Institute of Health to the National Cancer Institute. They are looking for good candidates, but not everyone is a candidate.
Great story.
Thanks, Joe.
Great story. So
Thanks.
hopeful.